And who would be wearing those eyelashes in theatre?
They do.
Oh, earrings.
I know. It's like you're sitting there doing the goggle box, aren't you, on TV shows?
Yeah.
And it's that run down the corridor with the patient just about to fall off the trolley because you're screaming around the corridor, give me IV stats. He does that down a hospital corridor. I've never seen him.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But when I first started, I worked at Northam for a while, and that was 100 years ago. And I remember that I was working with an old surgeon, and I was scrubbing, and that was back in the days where the scrub sink was outside and you scrubbed for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And he came out and said to me, can you hurry up? And I'm like, how can I hurry up a 3-minute scrub? Like, how? And then that same guy during the operation, we wanted some sterile water. And he said, go and get it from the scrub sink.
But it's unsterile.
But that's not sterile.
I'd hate to see what sort of surgery he was doing.
Yeah, I think he retired shortly after. But he was about 85 then, I think.
Dementia was kicking in.
But that one stuck with me, and I must have been, 17 or 18, 19, saying to me, can you hurry up? I don't know how to hurry up a 3-minute scrub.
Yeah. You can't speed that up. No.
Yeah.
And I remember working on the wards, but from theatre, this patient came back. He was in theatre. It was the South Perth. So, our famous hand surgeon had been operating on this kid's hand. I think he went into theatre in the morning and didn't come out till lunchtime the next day. So when I came on duty, I did all his post-op obs, and he had basically lost his thumb and first finger. He'd fallen into a manhole, and the tractor had fallen onto his hand and severed it. And so then had to turn the third finger into a thumb and convert all the nerves and tendons. And then we had to do his dressings on this hand wound. The young guy had such a good spirit about him, and he said, because his friends would come in and say, make sure you keep that one in your pocket when you're meeting women in the pub. Don't give that hand out to shake their hand or anything. So he would make jokes about it himself. Obviously dealt with it quite well, but I just could never get over how he could be like, you just lost those important digits of your fingers and the pain you must be suffering. You're like, I'll have to think of something else to do now with the other hand.
My parents had a little hobby farm, and we had some shearers who used to come in every year, lovely, and they'd bring their sons. And one year the boys turned up, and while I was going, noticed that one of them had 2 half fingers. And Dad turned around and go, oh, yes, fucking idiot. He was playing with the axe and chopped them off. And we go, so I couldn't do much with them. So he learnt to cope.
Yeah.
Didn't put him in ice and get him to hospital?
Oh, I think they didn't hit with a big axe, so there wasn't much left.
Yeah. See, things like that still make me cringe.
Yeah.
If somebody's showing me a rotten foot, a bad sore on their foot, or I remember you were talking about amputations where we used to work and they would chop off the dead black toes, and it was just like chopping wooden sticks, burnt sticks, didn't it, with pliers. And my toes would tingle and I would have to lift them off the ground. I couldn't get comfortable, You'll feel that pain that people are going through. Your hand gets sore or your back starts to ache because you've seen someone with multiple surgeries and things like that. So we absorb that empathy, or we seem to feel the pain that people have.
We see them at their most vulnerable. So half the time it's either providing comfort for them, or a lot of the time in theatre it's distracting them until they're asleep so they're not as stressed as they would be.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I wear odd socks. I've had more conversations about my odd socks than anything, and particularly with PEDS patients. That's when I started using them, because I noticed the parents were so uptight as you can understand. And because they were really uptight, they didn't know what to say to the kids, but it gave them something else to talk about,
to focus on.
and the kids go, oh. And that would distract them long enough and it'd mean that mum and dad interacted with us and the kids saw that mum and dad were having a normal interaction.
Yeah.
So that sort of calmed them down a bit.
Susie does wear odd socks, long, colourful socks, but they don't match. And I saw your bag the other day when we were talking and you were pulling out your socks and none of them matched. And I thought, now I know where to give my socks to that have lost their partner. You started a trend. I think it's really cool. And that's why.
I don't have any old socks. I have two and they're always a pair.
Yeah.
You just don't wear them together. But generally if I wear, because I do wear them together when they're first new, as they're virgins and they go out into the world, they're inexperienced and they need company.
Yeah.
But after that, they go into the sock drop.
Very good.
There was a theory.
I've got a jar of odd earrings where I've always lost an earring and I think I should wear them anyway, just 2 different earrings to see if people notice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you'd be surprised because I can't help myself sometimes. And when Claremont Quarter opened, we had a bet with a certain nurse we used to work with that I wouldn't wear odd socks in there. So to take it one step further, I wore odd shoes as well because my daughter was working for a shoe company. And so I bought 2 pairs of the same, one red, one blue. So I wore one red, one blue odd socks and walked into Claremont Quarter with a skirt on and took a photo for her. And I occasionally do wear them, the odd coloured shoes together. And it always amuses me. You go into a shoe shop and you can see the people in there going, oh, yeah, they're not matching.
Mm-hmm. Should I tell her they're not matching? No, nobody tells you anything like that.
No, generally if I wear the same socks, people come up and ask if I'm okay.
Oh, do they?
Particularly anaesthetists.
Really? Do they want to commit you or something?
No, they just want to know if I'm okay because my socks match.
Yeah. Oh, because they match.
Yeah, which I think is really sweet.
That's right. Okay, if your socks match, yes, that would be understandable.
Susie's gone normal. So Susie's gone normal. Now we have to worry. Yeah, never going to happen.
But she has them hanging. She has her trousers tucked into the socks.
Yes.
Which used to be the old-fashioned way, wasn't it? So that the pubic hair would fall down.
Not pubic shed, and they used to,
Pubic shed.
Yeah.
God, the ridiculous stuff we were fed sometimes, really. Is that a thing?
I know. When you've seen surgeons literally sweating and dripping.
Oh, talk about the open wound. We had a surgeon that used to wear those cheap coloured bright glasses from the from the pharmacy, right? And he was doing an open bowel surgery. And the glasses slipped off his head straight into the wound. And as quick as lightning, the anaesthetic nurse said, "Guess we need broad spectacle antibiotics now, do we?" So I had to go and pick them out and go and wash them down and put them back on his head so he can continue operating with it. Oh, that was pretty clever. Hey, you know what complements great conversations is fine wine? And there is nothing finer than a bottle of Plantagenet wine. Whether you're relaxing after a long shift, at a gathering with friends, or lounging by the fire, Plantagenet wine provides the perfect complement to any occasion. Plantagenet wine is meticulously crafted in one of the most remote locations in the world, using finest ingredients available to create elegant and sophisticated wines that you deserve. Head to plantagenetwines.com for your online order and enter the code NURSES at the checkout to receive 10% off your order with free shipping Australia-wide on any order over $180. So stock up for winter or plan the perfect gift with the most enchanting collection of wines you'll ever try. Head to plantagenetwines.com and enter the code NURSES to start your Plantagenet experience. Conversations with Nurses is proudly sponsored by Fat Burners Only, Australia's #1 online supplement store. Nursing is a demanding job and requires your body to be in tip-top condition, so why not head to Fat Burners Only, Australia's go-to store for supplements online. FBO provides you with a full range of supplements to support your hectic lifestyles and, of course, the energy and focus you need for those long shifts. FBO has Australia-wide free express shipping, so your products arrive at your door faster. And as a special treat for our listeners, enter the code NURSES at the checkout to receive 10% off every order, with proceeds going towards supporting this very podcast. Look good, feel great, and operate at peak performance with fat burners only. Proudly supporting nurses in association with your number one nursing podcast, Conversations with Nurses.
Now, an interesting thing we're going to discuss now is hospital romances. Just having a little break then, and we're talking about crushes, having crushes on surgeons, and were there any ever relationships that formed between doctors and nurses, like on Grey's Anatomy and what other TV shows that they always have young doctors? And that takes me back. Did you ever have a crush on anyone, Susie?
No.
No one?
No, I struck it luck the first time.
You got married young?
Yeah.
And no one ever had a crush on you?
No.
Or no?
Either that or I was totally oblivious. Which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's true. No orderlies that would run after you, whatever you wanted to do. If you rang the bell, they'd be there first.
Yeah.
I've had that.
I had that. I had a couple at Royal Perth
Yeah.
when I was training.
They were always the ones that came to your theatre.
Yeah, I was working on the wards at that stage or in emergency. I remember a couple of incidences like in emergency when things didn't go the way that you were meant to, or you didn't get the thing, and people would be like, you're useless, and the orderly would come along and give you a little pass or something and say, okay, don't worry about it. I was coming back, triggered the bell. No, I was working at a female hospital in Perth and so excited because I was in theatre, so scrubbing. And as my husband says, I'm generally oblivious at the best of times. Scrubbing eye. The surgeon who I was scrubbing with turned around to me, goes, how old are you? And I go, 18. And he goes, no, bit too young. And then, and I went, oh, yeah. Susie, you should have said yes, but legal. Very, very legal.
But do you know of any romances? I've known of affairs.
Yeah.
But I don't know any doctors, nurses marrying.
Yeah. No, I'm the same. I've been aware of like little crushes. When I was young, I had a mad crush on the plastic surgeon, but he was married and he knew, and pretty much everyone knew. It was so bloody obvious, but that never led to anything.
Yeah, no one made fun of you or anything?
No.
They would say, Dr. So-and-so's coming now.
Probably, yeah. As I was in the corner blushing bright red, and this not for this particular doctor, but I remember another anaesthetist that I was quite fond of. And he happened to walk into the nurse's station just as I was bending down at my bag, putting on perfume. And I was just like, oh, I got caught because I was going to work with him. So I was like, just a brief minute to put on a bit of perfume. And then I turned around and he's standing there and I was just like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, it's like being caught in your underwear.
I know, busted, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I did quite like a plastic surgeon too. He was very good on the eye. Yeah, very beautiful surgeon to work with. I did work in surgery later on, but I met him first when I worked on the wards. And he was the first one who used honey on his surgery.
Oh.
He did facelifts or any sort of breast surgery. Instead of a dressing, we would just apply honey to it. We were rubbing honey on it. We'd just give it to the patient with a little teaspoon and they rubbed it on. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's right. I have had a male midwife once. My first baby, I had a student male with midwife looking after me.
Yep.
So he had to check everything, check that my nipples weren't cracked, check my
Kind of felt
PV loss.
I had the same and I felt kind of sorry for him.
Yeah, I felt sorry for him too. It's like, I didn't care. I delivered a baby. Just have a look.
The whole world's seen it.
Yeah. That's not a really